Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Spectre Approved Podcast, a podcast where two gamers play a game where fucking orcs and dark elves comes with no judgment,
Yeah.
except internally. I'm your host, Adam Forrester, and I'm joined once again by Fenris. How you going?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, good. Glad to talk about Baldur's Gate 2. For what reason that is, you guys will find out. But first, what is Baldur's Gate 2? First off, go back and listen to our Baldur's Gate 1 episode to find out what's going on, because this one has a direct save feature of which you can import your character into Baldur's Gate 2. But Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Am, is a critically acclaimed computer role-playing game developed by BioWare and published by Black Isle Studios, which back then was a division of Interplay Entertainment, as the direct sequel to Baldur's Gate. It was released for Microsoft Windows on 24th of September 2000 and later ported to Mac and included in various collections and enhanced editions. The game builds on the story of Baldur's Gate, placing the player's protagonist, who we find is a Bolspawn, in the nation of Am, with a sprawling world including the city of Athkatla and countless quests and characters. It uses the Infinity Engine, the same engine as its predecessor and other Black Isle RPGs like Planescape Torment and Icewind Dale. So, Fenris, your kind of history with Baldur's Gate 2 itself, and initial thoughts coming into it, because we were both kind of cool on Baldur's Gate 1.
Yeah. Like I said, I played through the first game and then immediately rage quit, as I said on the previous Baldur's Gate episode, because my entire team abandoned me at the very end. And so I didn't have a save file to transfer over, so I had to create a new character. So that's what I did. And I'm just going to preface this and say that I did not make it far at all in this game. My antsiness to get into Baldur's Gate 3 outweighed my duties to the podcast. So I think let me check Steam real quick, because like I said, I did not play uh Baldur's Gate 2 for very long at all. I have 2.3 hours in this game. So, yeah. Where am I at?
And where was kind of your end point?
Let's see. I think I made it to the first city that you get to, after you get out of the dungeon that you find yourself in.
Athkatla.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay.
yeah. I think I made it there, and then I was like, "You know what? From what I've played so far, it seems like it's a lot more of the BG1 gameplay, and that's fine with me. I don't really care to, get through this again, and I'll just catch up on the story later and uh get on to be Baldur's Gate 3." And doing some research, apparently uh Baldur's Gate 2 is what it is and Baldur's Gate 1 is actually, like a remaster? As at some point, they went through and, updated the combat and the UI and all that stuff for, Baldur's Gate 1 to match that of Baldur's Gate 2. So
Yeah. Um, so I'll talk about my first experiences and then dive back into the development. But basically, very similar to yourself, I was quite cool on Baldur's Gate 1 in the fact that I completed the game, but I didn't really enjoy it. Um, I wanted to import my save, so I had to rebuy this game on Steam, even though I already had a copy on GOG, because you can't import your save if you're on another platform,
yeah,
even if you're on PC, which was quite annoying in the first place. Um, like I said, I had the dual pack for this on Switch originally. Which I traded in long ago. So I've had quite a few iterations of this game. Um, also didn't end up beating it, although I put in about 14 hours, and I ended up at the Umar Hills, um, which is about, I guess, the halfway point of the game. Looking at the walkthrough, so yeah, this kind of tells you where both Fenris and I are at with it currently. However, a lot of work did go into this game. So just scaling back to the development. Development began in January 1999, shortly after the success of the first Baldur's Gate. BioWare applied the lessons learned from the original, especially in separating engine work from content creation to improve the sequel's quality. Uh, there was an enormous scope, about 290 quests. Tracking and testing became a major undertaking, with developers pairing QA testers to validate content. Despite the optimistic design goals, the final months involved rigorous crunch, with staff pushing late nights and content cuts to hit the launch date, which I believe some of that content was later released as an expansion, the Throne of Baal,
yeah,
later on. Game runs on BioWare's Infinity Engine, known for its isometric viewpoints, real time with pause combat, and deep dialogue systems. The engine had matured since the first title and allowed designers to focus on content. The engine's success also laid the groundwork for BioWare's future RPG design, like in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age. Some of the key staff, James Olin, who was the lead designer and writer on Baldur's Gate 2. Olin later worked on Neverwinter Nights, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age, and Apex Legends. Kevin
okay.
Martins was lead design. Oh, sorry. Did you want to?
Oh, no, 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 I was just, uh, adding to it.
Oh, Kevin Martins, lead designer, credited with much of the world design on Baldur's Gate 2. Later, contributed to projects like Diablo 3. Ray Mazika, producer and co-founder of BioWare. After Baldur's Gate 2, he helped with Mass Effect and Dragon Age before retiring. And Michael Hoenig, was the composer for both Baldur's Gate 2 and the original Baldur's Gate. Known for his ambient scores and association with the band Tangerine Dream before his game work.
Okay.
Yeah. So that were the main people. Like I said before, originally released 24th September 2000 on Windows. Later on, 2001, there was a collector's edition that came with the Throne of Baal expansion, and different collections were and bundles were released up until the latest enhanced edition, released in November 2013 by Beamdog, which is the one we saw on the Switch, Xbox One, sorry, and PS4. Um, this has scored positively across a bunch of review sites. Metacritic, the critic version, having it 95 out of 100. GameSpot player average of 9.2 out of 10. And Moby Games critic having the game sit at about 93%. And as of 2008, was the latest time period I could get for these metrics for commercial success. The game had sold over 2 million units, which was pretty good for CRPGs at the time.
Yeah. It's just unfortunately, I just I do not have the nostalgia for these games that other people do. So, playing a game like Baldur's Gate 3 and then wanting to go back and get the story from Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, it's jarring, just because of not only, like, graphics-wise and because the story from the first game was really good. I really enjoyed it up until the end. Um, and then, reading through the story, for Baldur's Gate 2 seems like the story is, again, a real big hit. Um, it's just going from playing 5e to 1e is very difficult. Um, because the way that the rules, for Dungeons and Dragons has, evolved over the years from the 80s is, they've simplified a lot of things and it's very difficult to backtrack and play a previous edition, especially the first edition. Um, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
We can at least talk through character creation, I guess. A lot of the gameplay and mechanics are going to be the same.
yeah.
Because like you said, we played the enhanced edition of Baldur's Gate 1. So see our Baldur's Gate 1 episode for gameplay and mechanics. I also didn't note I noticed a slight upgrade in the visuals.
A little bit,
Main Mainly because we had that close time period between Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2. In the prison in particular, yeah, like as soon as I boot up the game, you're in the prison and yeah, I definitely noticed a difference in the visuals. Still very washed out and like I've only got a small monitor. Um, but it was still very, very grainy for me.
yeah, and that's just because, of the time differences, as we've discussed about, some of the older games we've played, um, that being, like, the graphics are always going to be washed out because they were made for, older, builds with, worse resolutions than what we have now. Um, Back in the day, it probably looked amazing, um, but nowadays with, people having the resolutions that they have, because like, I play everything in 4K resolution because it's why wouldn't I? I have 2 4K monitors, so if I have the option to play something in the highest resolution I can, I'm going to. And that does not help with, some of these older games.
Sorry about that, folks. We just had a slight technical difficulty. However, we're back now. So I guess before I cut out, I was just talking about the graphics briefly and
Yeah.
like how I could actually differentiate between characters. which was really good compared to the first game.
Yeah, it really does seem like there was a lot of graphical updates compared to the two.
Yeah.
And I think what it is that we got the enhanced edition for BG1, which was the already all the graphics for BG2.
Most definitely. So yeah, we might jump into character creation, like you suggested, Fenris.
Yeah,
We'll start off with you because you create a new character.
I didn't actually.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I made the same character.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he was a orc fighter, and um, I think I even did the same color scheme. Um, that's pretty much it. He was a good character, so yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And what about you?
Yep. The import went really well for me across from Steam. Um, I had a lawful evil fighter,
Okay.
human, because I'm boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I guess party members, there were a few who I'm very interested to talk about potentially in the next game as well. I mainly had Corgan, who was the orc, Viconia the dark elf, Edwin the really cool mage, and Jahira.
Yeah, I had what was her name? Imoen and Jahira, I think, and Minsk,
Okay,
and I think that was it.
yeah. Um, Emmeline was
The rogue.
dead from BG1 for me,
Oh.
so she didn't show up. Yeah, it would have been, I think, and we're getting slowly into Baldur's Gate 3 spoiler territory because I don't really have too much more to talk about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
To
neither
talk
do I.
about two, to be honest. It would have been interesting if we could somehow import some things from the world state to 2.
Right?
Because like we'll talk about in the next month or so, I had a few world state inconsistencies in
Yeah.
3. Mainly because I ended up losing Jahira in this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like she died. So,
Yeah, so I guess I'll just go ahead and say it. In BG1, I came across Viconia, and because I knew who she was from BG3, I killed her.
ooh.
Yeah, so she is definitely dead. But they retconned it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Do you have anything that you want to touch on for the dungeon? Irenicus's dungeon?
yeah, it's pretty much the only thing that I did.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it was long and it was troubling. I it I don't know. I went through it. I killed some people. I couldn't open a door,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about it. I think I made it out. I'm not exactly certain, but that was about it.
Did you end up killing Irenicus?
I believe I did, although I don't really remember.
As did I.
Yeah, well, I mean, the dude, imprisoned us, and because of the way the game ended for me last time, like, I guess I just threw goodness out the window and, killed him.
Yeah, me neither. Being lawful evil, motherfucker captured me, he's gonna die.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. 100%. But
Yep.
yeah, and I think that's about all I really have to say about that.
Yeah. Did you find combat any easier?
I felt like the combat was relatively the same. You know, point your mouse at the targets and use your fighting abilities, which were pretty much automatic. So,
Yep.
and yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like it was a lot of the same.
Cool.
You want to jump into the story?
Obviously, while the story was good, wasn't enough to carry us through all the way. But I think in a pre-Baldur's Gate 3 world, and I'm going to jump a little bit into my final thoughts here, unless you have anything else that you wanted to talk about, Fenris.
No, not really. Yeah, because I didn't really play this game as much as you did. I feel like I don't really have the wherewithal to speak my piece on it. So I feel like anything you have to say is pretty much going to be it.
We are going to get roasted on the internet for this, but that's all right, because it
Probably.
is so beloved.
Yeah.
And I think in a Baldur's Gate 3 world, or pre-Baldur's Gate 3 world, this would have been one of the premier CRPGs around.
Absolutely.
Like, you just have to look at its legacy. Similar to the first one, however, I feel like the team really built on the successes that they had made from Baldur's Gate 1.
Yeah.
And I think really enhanced on some of the real things that we nitpicked about Baldur's Gate 1, particularly like the music and the environments and things like that. I think that was really improved on
Agree.
during my time in Baldur's Gate 2. However, in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world,
Yeah.
I think that this is always going to be kind of shifted to the wayside. And to be honest, it makes me a little bit worried when we have to come to KOTOR. Because as much as I love Star Wars, I feel like I'm going to be saying a lot of the same criticisms about that I'm saying about Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
KOTOR is rough for its time. As I've said before, I have tried to go back and play it in the past 5 years, and it's way too janky, and I love the story, but it needs an update.
I'm really hoping the remake gets made before we roll it for the show.
Oh yes, if the remake gets made before we roll it for the show,
Yeah.
We definitely need to pick that one over the original, because I tried to go through and play that beloved game. I couldn't.
Yeah. And I kind of keep pushing it back off picking it myself. The wheel might still pick it, but I keep pushing it back because I kind of want to wait for the remake. Because very much like our friends over at the Steam Machine podcast are doing at the moment with Witcher 1.
Yeah.
Waiting for that remake to drop because it was on their list to play in the coming weeks. So I think we might have to make, depending how news goes over the first half of this year, we might make the executive decision to remove it from the wheel until a remake comes out.
I agree.
Yeah. So we're going to do that.
Good.
But I guess before I jump into my final thoughts, I jumped on to infinitebacklog.net, where I put up last night about Baldur's Gate 2.
Nice.
And we do have some correspondence.
Hell yeah.
From ASM_Havoc, they wrote, I really enjoyed Baldur's Gate 2.
Oh no.
I feel like it expands on every element of the first game and makes it better.
Nice.
The biggest improvements were the depth of the companion stories and the overall writing. This was a super fun world to get lost in and do the quests. You can really see why BioWare took off how they did with this game.
Yeah.
And then the second piece of correspondence we've got is from user T41871412. One of the top tier games for modding.
Yeah.
Incredible that new mods are still being made for it after so long. Even without adding fan-made content, just being able to play the entire series on a single BG2 save using the EE trilogy is one of, if not the biggest character arcs in a CRPG.
Yeah.
Then there are mods that let you play through the entire campaigns of IWD/NWN as side quests. I'm guessing that's Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the first one would be. Oh, Icewind Dale.
Yeah.
That's cool. You could easily get hundreds of hours from a single playthrough. Now that may get me to do a revisit.
Probably.
If I can find the right mod scenes, I might actually reach out to that user and say, can you send me a link to those mods? Because that would be very interesting to look in. But there we go. Two positive, I guess, correspondences from people in the community that obviously have a lot more experience and with the game than us.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if you really want it to be, it can definitely be a game that you can get the most out of.
Absolutely.
Particularly how ASM_Havoc wrote about the companion stories.
Which I didn't do.
Yeah. So I'm guessing there's a lot of depth there. You just have to want to dive into it.
Yeah.
However, my overall rating is going to be a not fun.
Yeah.
However, I am interested to... Or a fail, sorry, no, not fun. Fail. God, learn your own bloody rhetoric that you came up with for the podcast, Adam. A fail for me this time around, only because I couldn't play through the whole thing without wanting to jump into something else. Albeit a sequel to it, but it's definitely made me definitely appreciate what it was, but not for me in the long run. So people who this would be for are people that like old school CRPGs, 100%. I feel like it's still on the 1001 games you must play before you die kind of list type thing, particularly if you like old school CRPGs. And being able to encompass those other Forgotten Realms worlds within Baldur's Gate 2 would definitely be something interesting.
Yeah. So I don't think I can give this a rating simply because I didn't play it. I mean, I played the first dungeon, I got a feel for everything, and everything just kind of felt more or less the same as the first game. And yeah, so I don't feel like I can give this a rating out of fairness, although with the whole mod scene, there's a chance that I probably could go back to it. It makes it seem like it would be fun, but as a whole, it just wouldn't be fair for me to give this a proper rating.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
So we might take a quick break because we are going to jump into, I guess, the first little bit of Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
Do a brief intro of the game and talk about our character creation.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, guys, so we're back on the other side of a beautiful track from Baldur's Gate 2, down into the meat and potatoes of our next series, Baldur's Gate 3. This series will probably go for as many episodes as Fenris and I feel we need to talk about it, because there's a lot to talk about. So for this first kind of half episode, we're just going to cover off on what the game itself is, how it kind of differs from its predecessors, and then dive into our character creation, because even that is super meaty.
See, and it was even more meaty for me because I played this game modded.
Ooh, okay. I'm very interested to hear about what that kind of looked like for you, because even vanilla, I feel like this game just has so much to offer. But what is it? For those that don't know, why don't you know? Baldur's Gate 3 is a 2023 role-playing game by Larian Studios, the third installment in the Baldur's Gate series. Game release for Windows happened on August 3rd, with PlayStation 5, macOS, and Xbox Series XS released later in the same year. In the game's narrative, the party seeks to cure themselves of a parasitic tadpole infecting their brain. It can be played alone or in a group, and adapted from the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Baldur's Gate 3 takes its mechanics and setting, the Forgotten Realms, from the tabletop game. Players create a customizable character and embark on a quest with a party of voiced companions. Alternatively, you can play as a companion as well if you wish. The gameplay comprises of real-time exploration of large areas, turn-based combat, and narrative choices which impact the party and the wider world, Outcomes for combat, dialogue, and world interaction are generally determined by the rolling of a 20-side die. So that's the basics. We'll get into development probably next episode, as well as like our Act 1 and maybe characters as well.
All right. So, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, okay. With character creation. All right. Oh god, where do I even start? So I think the first thing you can do is your predetermined origins. So like I said before, actually I might go a bit into history, because I was so jealous that I couldn't play this game for the longest time, because at the time I only had an Xbox. However, at the end of the 2023 Game Awards, when we talk about how that looked for Baldur's Gate 3, and it was announced that they won Game of the Year that year, Larian Studios also said, well, it's cool because at the end of the show, you'll actually be able to go out and purchase Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox. The port's been released to there. So at the end of that, I remember, and I can't remember if you attended this one, Fenris, at the end of the Game Awards that we kind of all sat in the Discord for, at the end of, on December 4th, 2023, I went and I bought the deluxe edition of Baldur's Gate 3 straight away, for the Xbox Series. Yep. Because I'd heard so many good things, seen so much gameplay, mainly like character interactions and like the combat stuff, and I'm like, damn it, I just want to play this damn game. But I didn't have a PS5, didn't have a PC that could run it at the time. So that's how I kind of came to get a hold of the game itself. Although this time I played it for PC.
I don't remember exactly when I got this game, and I don't remember how it came up, but I basically watched this game grow into what it is now, because I bought this game during its early access phase, and I did not stop playing it for a year. Like I fell immediately in love with this game, and I feel like that's mostly because of I love anything that has to do with D&D. So watching this game grow into what it is now was really a treat. And then being like Larian, I had heard of, but not as much as I probably should have, because they did the Divinity series, or the Divinity duo, soon to be trio, and playing this game really told me what kind of development studio that they are, because they did everything right. They put the game into early access. They listened to everyone that gave feedback on it. And then they released the game a year and a half, 2 years later, and I can't imagine it being anything less than what it is. Like it is. I wouldn't say a perfect game, but I love it, and I think I will play it forever.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten this game had an extensive early access phase. Um, so what was? Can you remember what the game was like in those real early builds? Like, what kind of was the biggest thing, I guess, that back then wasn't in the game that we see today, if you can remember?
um, it was as you would expect. It was very buggy.
Hmm.
Because it was still in its developmental phase. Um, but you could only play through up to the Underdark.
Okay.
They hadn't fleshed out all of Act One yet. But there was because like it was in the beginning intro cinematic. There's a bit where Minthara and I want to call him Dritz, but that's not his name. He's the hobgoblin. They're looking up at the crashing uh, mind flayer ship, Nautiloid, uh, and like the details would just go flat, or the background rendering wouldn't render, and it would just be like two flat characters on a gray panel. Um,
Okay.
and then you would get into the gameplay, and everything would be fine. But I feel like that should have been expected because you you want your feedback on the gameplay itself and not necessarily the cutscenes because I don't know anything about game development, but I feel like a cutscene would be easier to fix than gameplay.
Yep. And did you have to pay for early access? Did you have to sign up? Like, how did it all work?
I bought the game.
Oh,
I think it
okay.
was like
Yep.
I think it was like $40 or something like that. It was really,
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't anything what it was. And then when they released the completed version, I think they marked it up to like 50. And then they added a whole bunch of stuff because the Dark Urge was not in early access. Um, I don't
Yeah,
think you
understandably.
could play as a origin character in early access. You could only play as your or a custom character in early access. Um, let's see. The classes that they had, I think it was, let's see, they didn't have monk or bard or druid or paladin. Yeah. So those four classes were not in early access.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, early access is always something very interesting because we've got another early access game coming up for the show in Greedfall 2, which I didn't even realize. But apparently, when that episode's due to come up, we'll be pretty close to the release date anyway.
oh, nice.
So I don't think we'll have too much to worry about there. Um, but yeah, early access is always one of those interesting things because obviously, like a studio like Larian isn't going to cut and run with everyone's money, but it can it can happen. It can
Yeah.
happen. Um,
And one of the things that I liked about the full release of the game is that, I did get it for cheaper, and I expected to pay the difference between the release copy and what I got for early access because, it's just I thought that's the way it would have worked, and they were just like, no, if you purchased it for early access, you're not gonna have to pay anything. You're not gonna have to pay for the full game again. just enjoy the game. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Larian itself as a studio has come out with some fantastic, like, it seems like they actually care about gamers and they care about the people that are using their product.
Yeah,
They're a
and
very considerate studio.
and it really is a breath of fresh air because, seeing them like basically guide the way for the way that, development studios should be. It's been really nice because like they put out this amazing product, and then, Swin, the CEO, like he's been kind of snippety with some other development companies about how they handle things.
Yep.
It's been really fun to watch.
Well, you just need to look at like the modern state of BioWare, I guess, compared to how they were probably back when they were bringing out Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. They probably were close to the stage that Larian are at now in terms of caring about the consumers, compared to jumping forward 26 years and now seeing how modern BioWare is. And I think we'll actually get to really see that as we go through the later Mass Effects and the Dragon Age games as well, even though they're like early or late 2010s.
Well, it's like I saw this post on Reddit about, this is going to be a really quick side tangent about Dragon Age, but it said something along the lines of after Dragon Age Origins, BioWare just forgot about Dragon Age fans. I kind of felt that.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with Dragon Age 2 or Inquisition or Veilguard. Because all three of those are good games in their own ways, but you never really got the wonder or the awe that you got from Dragon Age Origins, and it's kind of sad.
I can definitely feel that. There were jaw-dropping moments for Inquisition in particular that we'll talk about when we get there. But yeah, I can definitely see that point of view.
Yeah.
So character creation itself, I guess. My personal one I did a custom character. I think it's really cool that you can play as an origin, like a companion throughout, but I chose to do a custom character for this playthrough. And I wanted to do something that I didn't normally do. So I don't normally go mage in a lot of things. So I wanted to go like at least a mage subclass. But I guess for race, jumping back to origin even. Can't even remember. Anyway, so my race.
I have the game pulled up.
Yeah.
And here, I'll share my screen with you. You can kind of see. Yeah, so the first option you have is your origin custom, who you want to play as.
Yep.
And you can do either your origin custom, which is where you create your own character, or you can play. And honestly, I wouldn't even consider these people, the origin characters, as side characters, because each in their own right, like, they are a main character. But you can pick Astarion, Lae'zel, Gale, Shadowheart, Will, Karlach, or the Dark Urge.
The only criticism I have with this point of the game is that it reveals who your party members are potentially going to be. Like, I know it doesn't reveal all of them there by any means, but I think just for someone going in spoiler free, I have to give it a little bit of criticism because, like, yeah, they're on the front cover and everything. I think all of them are on the front cover. Yeah. So they're on the front cover anyway, but I guess if you want to go in completely spoiler free and surprise free, then it's kind of spoiling it a little bit there. Like, yeah, you probably meet Will and Karlash the latest, but yeah, I don't know.
No, I get that. I get that. Um, but the thing about the origin characters is that you get a lot more of their, not necessarily backstory, but like how the game is played through their eyes. Because my husband, he just to see how it worked, he played um, through the Nautiloid bit as Lae'zel just to see what would happen because she is the first character that you meet. Um, and whenever Lae'zel jumps out of the rafters or whatever, because that's
Mm-hmm.
how she's introduced. Um, Whenever she pops up on the Nautiloid, it's another Githyanki, just a random.
Ah,
Yeah, it's just a random Githyanki. Um, so that's pretty cool.
Gales would be interesting with
Gales would
how we meet
definitely be
him.
interesting, but without going into how we meet
Yeah.
all of them, I just wanted to make that a point of reference.
Okay.
That they do change some things. I
Yep.
would be really interested in Karlach's origin,
Mm.
and because of the way you meet her, I would like to play through Shadowheart, because I have yet to touch an origin character story, just because like I don't know, for whatever reason I didn't want to play as a different character. I wanted to be
Interesting.
my own character.
Yep.
But after seeing that post about how I said the origin characters are more main character than side character, like it kind of shifted my viewpoint on it, and I
Yep.
think I might actually like play through uh, an origin character or two.
Yeah, cool. So after you choose your origin, which is either custom or an origin character, we've got the race. So yeah, I went Dragonborn for this.
Hmm.
Anytime I can choose a lizard man, I choose a lizard man, just because they're so different from humans. Ah, yes, and you can also randomize appearance and change your body type, whether you want to be male or female. And then you really dive into the editing appearance from there, which is just, yeah, I could spend 4 hours. I guess the only thing we'll touch on where this differs for, oh yeah, and the crests, particularly with Dragonborn, are just awesome. Also, Tiefling. Tiefling have an awesome amount of horns, because that was also a character that I kind of did a little bit with. I guess the only thing I want to touch on with appearance is compared to most RPGs, apart from Cyberpunk at the moment, is the only other one I really know of. You can choose your genitalia.
Yeah.
And I guess when we talk about romances, we'll talk about how, I guess, underutilized that is. Yeah, you can have a big old lizard dong.
And their movement physics, so it jiggles.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we're an audio only podcast at the moment, but
yeah.
definitely save that clip for the horny
But
jail channel.
yeah. And then something that I'm actually kind of disappointed in with character creator is that if you choose a female character and you go into edit appearance and scroll all the way down and hide their clothes, like the boobies don't move.
Oh wow, didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Well, you're
So
too young and perky, I guess. To if you age up your character, does it? Maybe, I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah, me too. And then from race, you can go sub race. For myself, I went green Dragonborn, because their affinity to poison with that, and I wanted to make a poison based character, and that's where we lead into class. Yeah, which I chose sorcerer, for this, and then from there you've just got a wealth of things. So can you talk through cantrips for me, Fenris? Because it was a completely new concept to me. I'd never heard the word before because I don't really have a D&D background.
So cantrips are 0-level spells. For those who are more familiar with older editions of D&D. And 0-level or cantrips are basically very minimal damage free casts that you can do however many times you want. They range from support spells like Light or Dancing Lights or Mage Hand or Minor Illusion, Friends, True Strike. The list goes on and on. What we have for Baldur's Gate 3 is not what you would get in the tabletop. Because there are so many more here. Like I have a mod for extra spells. Like I have Frostbite, Create Bonfire, Green Flame Blade, Gust, Larlock's Minor Drain, Thunderclap, Sword Burst, Prestidigitation. There are a plethora of cantrips that you can use. And basically all they are just, the minimal amount of damage. And you can cast them as many times as you want, but they all have their uses.
Which I love, anything that you can cast unlimited times per day without having to rest.
Yeah, because, at some point, if you're playing a wizard class and you use up all your spell slots and you don't rest, like, you're kind of useless because you don't have strength, so you can't hit anything. And your main stat is going to be an intelligence, which is for, spellcasters, unless you're wisdom or charisma, but that's diving too deep into the rules. So you need something that will help. Because, help enemy health go down 0, when fight.
Yep. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And then because I was a spellcaster, I've obviously got spells as well as the cantrips. Spells can only be utilized for as many spell slots as you have before you have to rest at your camp and end the day essentially before you can use them again. Dragonborn also has a subclass for which, Draconic Bloodline. And it is... I chose Draconic Bloodline, I think, for that one.
So what you meant to say was Sorcerer has a subclass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you.
So Sorcerer for Baldur's Gate 3, as you can see, Adam, my mods kind of...
Yeah, you've got a few extra ones. That's why I was like,
Yeah. So for Baldur's Gate 3, pre-patch 8, you had access to Draconic Bloodline, Storm Sorcery, and Wild Magic. Post-patch 8, we got Shadow Magic Sorcerer. The mod I have gives me 4 new subclasses, which is Lunar Sorcery, Divine Soul, Clockwork, and Aberrant. And all 4 of those, just like, this is a Divine Caster, this is another kind of Divine Caster, I think. Clockwork is something, I don't know. And then Aberrant Mind is basically a...
you control spells?
Psychic.
Yeah, okay.
Psychic, yeah. A psychic sorcerer, or psychic damage sorcerer.
Nice.
Yeah. But Draconic Bloodline is probably what a lot of people play the most because with Draconic Bloodline, you get like scales and stuff on your human characters, and as a Dragonborn, you are a dragon, basically. But you get this thing called Draconic Resilience, which gives you, normally your AC is your whatever clothing you have or armor with your dex bonus.
Yep.
And then that's it. With clothing, you can have your full dex modifier. With armor, depending on what armor you have, you either have no dex bonus or a +2. But with Draconic Resilience, it's great because you're mostly going to be wearing clothing. So your base AC is going to be 10 plus your dex modifier. With
Yep.
Draconic Resilience, you have a base AC of 13 plus your dexterity modifier, and that is rules is written because dragon scales extra defense.
Yep. And next, yeah, so this is just Dragon Ancestor, the damage type associated with your dragon stuff.
Mhm.
I went green, which is affiliated with poison. Was it my race or the subclass that let me fly for draconic stuff?
Ooh, it might have
Spoiler.
been. I don't think base game Dragonborns can fly, so I think that was your Draconic Bloodline.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and if you level up enough in Draconic Bloodline, you can fly eventually for a movement type.
Yeah.
And then you've got your character background itself. This is like your thing, how you grew up. I went, believe, no, they're all the new ones down the bottom. Maybe Merchant, because it has a charisma affiliation. Right, yep.
Yeah,
animal handling and persuasion, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said earlier on in the episode, I prefer to talk my way out of a fight, and anything that can increase my ability and my lucky points lets me roll higher, means I fail less, is always good.
Yeah.
And then you've got your stats or your abilities, which charisma, intelligence, and dex were the three that I pumped into.
Yeah. Because charisma is the sorcerer casting of a ability. So the higher charisma the sorcerers have, the more damage they do, the more they'll be able to hit. And then constitution is, your health, and dexterity is, your ability to move and be dexterous and dodge things, which is why I think it directly corroborates with your AC.
Yep.
But
and that's my character.
Yep. I also did an origin character. Because you wanted to do a good playthrough, I was going to do an evil playthrough. And then I really wanted to do Dark Urge, but I didn't want to spoil that little bit of story for you. So I just did a regular Tav and just did all the evil things. I was a human male.
Boring.
Yes. But with humans, because I also was a caster, so strength was a dump stat. Strength also increases your carry weight, and it also determines how far you can jump. So humans automatically get like an extra amount of carry weight, because humans are good like all-rounders or whatever. Where is it? Increased by a quarter. But I went warlock because I don't know, for whatever reason, like warlocks are just evil leaning characters for me. I chose the Eldritch Blast and Mistress Booming Blade because I was a melee character. As my subclass, I decided to go with the Hexblade because it's a new subclass that got released for patch 8, and I hadn't tried it yet.
Nice.
They've got a packed weapon, which means you're proficient with it, and you add your charisma modifier to the damage with it instead of your dex. And they also get a couple really cool little features, like, what is it? You get proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. Yeah, they get a couple cool things later on, like level 5 and level 6 and all that. The spells I went with, because warlocks have limited spell slots, I
Mhm.
think I went with Hex and Armor of Agathis. Yeah, Armor of Agathis and Hex. Just for the extra temporary hit points and 5 cold damage, and Hex for extra damage because that's always useful. And then my background, I don't remember what I did for my background. I don't remember what I did for my background, but yeah, it may have been Wayfarer or something, because I wanted to do like a darkness based thing, because all of my characters are going to be evil.
Mhm.
And then I'd allocated my stats, and that was my character.
Fantastic. Oh, I forgot to say I did a male Dragonborn as well.
Cool.
Because I knew straight away who I wanted to romance. Which we will get to when we talk about characters in romance.
Yeah. One of the cool mods that I'm gonna show off to you is see the feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not vanilla.
No, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Alright, you're gonna need to show me where you found these mods.
They're in the base game.
Ah,
Yeah, so if you go to the main menu, whenever it loads, I've got like 3 gigs worth of mods right here, mod manager.
mod manager. Okay.
Yep. So you can just search for whatever. I can send you over my list of what I've got that way, because I've got over 100 mods downloaded.
Okay. Did you... I guess we'll just talk about that quickly while we're on the topic of mods. Did you find you had any crashes with that?
Yes, but I
Okay.
think it was because I had some mods downloaded that were incompatible with each other. In the past week or so that I've been playing, I think I've kind of narrowed down what my issue was, and I haven't had any issues since.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Real quick, let me just go ahead and go back and to character creation, just so I can show you all of the different. I know this is a audio medium, but I'll do that later. Audio medium.
Okie dokie. Well, yeah, that is the real quick and dirty opener for Baldur's Gate 3. We are going to, I guess, probably get another 3 episodes out of this series. Next episode, we are going to focus on the development history of the game a bit more, talk about Larian a bit more, and talk about Act 1 at least. So keep in mind, we will try our best to keep it spoiler free for as much as we can. So for example, we won't be talking about Act 2 things in Act 1 and the like. So if you would like to play along with us, which will be quite hard because it's a long ass game, but still try and get as much done as you can, so because that's where we'll be talking up to in 2 weeks' time. So, if you would be so kind, though, as to head on over to patreon.com/Spectre approved for as little as $3.50 US a month or $5 Australian per month, you can join the Patreon, where you get earlier release episodes, longer episodes with the Patreon section at the start, and you get access to voting on the games that Fenris and I play. picking them out, even not voting. You get to choose what we play. Within reason, we have vetoes of the limits to what we'll play and what we won't. You can also follow along my part 1 of Date Everything, in which the community voted who I should either love, friendship, or hate. In that game is up. The next 10 characters will go up in the second week of March. For that, I'm also doing a video series on the Black Ops games, and the first one of those being Black Ops 1 will be completed by the end of March. If you'd like to come on over to the Discord, where all the cool people hang out in the Steam Machine network, of which we are a part of, that's bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all caps.
And speaking of Discord, our leader, Donald Suter, aka Now the Nightmare, he did the intro and outro music for our podcast, as well as the other podcasts of the network. And if you liked what you heard, you can find all of that over at Bandcamp at nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. And if you also like any of his music there, you can also go find him on YouTube under Dalton Suter, where he does a lot of vocal covers and guitar playing and really good stuff. So go chuck him a like and a follow and support him. He's really good. Outside of that, my name is Fenris Wolfsbane. You can find me everywhere on Discord, Steam, Epic, EA, GOG, Final Fantasy XIV on Gilgamesh, so come say hi. You can also find me at BDJensen90 on Infinite Backlog. So, yeah.
Cool, and I am under Spectre approved for the majority of our socials, Blue Sky X Instagram, and I am under Revive Pod on Infinite Backlog, where probably a couple of days before we're due to record, I'll make a post about correspondence. So if you'd like to be like the lovely people that responded to our Baldurs Gate 2 post, head on over there and type in what you love and what you hate about Baldur's Gate 3. And if you would be so kind, please rate, share wherever you get your podcasts. And our next game after Baldur's Gate 3 series will be Legend of Dragoon. However, there'll be a number of Baldur's Gate episodes before that happens. So, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, and I was just going to go ahead and go into my thanks. And just thank everybody for listening to us. And I know that this is probably our first split episode on a single game, so just bear with us for a minute. It's a chonker, and there is a lot to talk about.
Yeah. As much as I'd love to sit down and just do like a 12-hour recording, I don't think either of us could do that with our schedules at the moment.
Yeah.
Cool beans. So this has been Spectre approved. I am Adam.
And I'm Fenris.
And happy gaming.
Have a good one.